Your eyes to close gently and just find a position you can comfortably sit in for a few minutes. And allow that awareness, the attention, to pull from being focused on the world around you to being focused on the world inside of you. Take a moment and allow yourself to really arrive. The body's here, but bring the awareness, bring the consciousness, bring the attention to this very moment, to this very breath. Allow the awareness to merge fully into the breath as you breathe in and breathe out. Sounds will come, sensations will come, thoughts will come. But don't allow the awareness to get hooked into them. Just keep that awareness anchored in your breath. If the mind wanders, just bring it back. Don't judge yourself or yell at yourself. Don't analyze it. Just gently and lovingly bring the mind back to the breath. You can add a very gentle mantra to this if you like. The mantra is very simple. It's so hum. So on the inhalations you can chant silently to yourself. So as you inhale, and hum as you exhale. So hum means I am that. I am one with the universe. I am one with the Creator and with the creation. So hum. So hum. Just chant it silently to yourself on the inhalations and exhalations. As you inhale, allow yourself to breathe in not only oxygen, but breathe in the sacred energy of this holy land. Breathe in that energy of the sages and the saints, the yogis, the rishis. Breathe in that energy of light, of divine awakening. As you inhale, just feel yourself filling yourself with that sacred energy, and allow it to touch and illumine all of the cells in your being. On this sacred day of Dhanteras, when Mahalakshmiji arrives, feel that presence of the Mother Goddess within you. That presence of the Divine Mother holding you. As you inhale, just feel yourself taking in that sacred presence. slowly and gently, bring your hands together at chest level and rub them gently against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly open your eyes and lower your hands. Welcome to Satsang. And happy Dhanteras, everyone. So the first question's about Diwali, but I'm actually going to save that till tomorrow since Monday's Diwali, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. How can I be an independent woman in this country and not give in to my family's determination to see me married? You know, when we look within to find our dharma, our path, and when we make choices in life about our path, it's really important to understand what is the foundation from which I am making these decisions. So for example, one foundation would be, I'm making these decisions because this is what my parents have told me to do. They want me to be a doctor, I'm a doctor. They want me to be an engineer, I'm an engineer. They want me to get married to this person at this time and live in this place. I marry this person at that time and I live in this place. That's one way of making decisions, one ground from which we take inspiration to make our decisions. Another one is, my parents want me to be a doctor, therefore I will be anything but a doctor. I absolutely, no matter how much I love medicine, I absolutely refuse to be a doctor because I will not do what they want. My parents love this guy I'm dating. They really want me to marry him. Therefore, I'm going to break up next week. Now, in both cases, you'll notice we are making a decision based on what other people want. In the first one, we're doing it because it's what they want. In the second case, we're doing it because it's the opposite of what they want. But in both cases, the very ground from which we are making a decision is that which we are being told to do. Meaning, in neither case are we actually looking within for the answers. In neither case are we actually anchoring, grounding, checking in with what really feels right. And I mention this because there's a lot of times in our life where, especially if we have parents who are particularly determined and vocally determined and very energetically determined, we may find ourselves not doing what they want. Not because we really don't want to do it, but just because we don't want to do whatever it is they want us to do. And I notice in the question she's asked, how can I be an independent woman, not giving in to my family's determination to see me married? Now, nowhere in the question does it even mention whether she wants to be married or not. What she wants is independence. And it's critical because I think a lot of us, and I certainly know that I did this when I was young, we make decisions that are not actually what deeply we want. They're not deeply what's right for us. But we do them because they're the exact opposite of what we're being told to do. And in our very beautiful yearning for independence, which we all should have, in our yearning to just for once, for God's sakes, make my own decision, we do the opposite of what we're being told. But if you realize we're actually then being just as much of a puppet, we're not actually being independent. We're still being dependent. We're just dependent in rebellion rather than dependent in obedience. But I'm still not really doing what I want. And so what I would say to this, presumably, it is a young woman, she said, an independent woman. What I would say to this young woman is, for a moment, forget what everyone's telling you to do. Know that you are independent. Know that you do have total free will. What is it, aside from what anyone is telling you to do? What is it actually that you want to do? And if deeply what you want is not to be married, well, then it's going to take some courage to explain that to your family, but that's all right. She sounds like a young woman with courage. She's courageous enough to send in a question in advance for satsang. So there's that opening. Because remember, ultimately, what our parents really want is for us to be happy. That's ultimately the goal of parents, is that their children should be happy. Now, typically they want us to be happy according to their agenda, because in their mind, that's what we're supposed to do, and if we do what we're supposed to do, then we'll be happy. But at the end of the day, what I've seen in my own personal life, and in so many other people's lives, is if you are finding a path that really brings you happiness, that really brings you fulfillment and meaning and joy and peace, even if it's not what your parents had in their agenda, they will support it because it's ultimately what's bringing you joy and peace. And I'm not saying they're going to support it immediately. It may take them a little time. I know when I first decided I was moving back to India and I was not going to finish my PhD program, and I did eventually finish it, but at the time I didn't know that I would go back and do that. At the time I was just leaving everything and moving to India and joining an ashram. And I remember I wrote my mom a letter first, before I spoke to her, because I knew her first reaction would be no. That was sort of the standard first reaction frequently. So I thought, I want her to get the no out of her system first. Let her and my dad have their own, between them, how dare she, what did she think she's doing, conversations, and get that out of the way so that by the time I actually came to a conversation, they had some breathing room, they had time to think about it. And I was able to really present to them why I knew this was my dharma, why I knew this was right. And ultimately they supported me. And then they even became super happy about it as the years went by. Because they realized, okay, it's not our agenda, it wasn't what we had thought. But she's so happy. She's in such peace, she's doing such good work, that they became really happy. And I've seen this in so many cases with people. Your parents, in most cases, not all the time, but most of the time, they're a lot stronger than we may think they are. A lot of us walk on eggshells around our parents lest we don't upset them. But we don't realize that they're actually a lot stronger than we give them credit for. And they're a lot wiser than we may give them credit for. And they know us quite well and quite deeply. And if we go to them and we really explain why right now getting married is not what's right for us, not because I'm rebelling against you, but really because here's all of the other things I want to do before I get married. I think most of them would understand. But just make sure that it's not out of rebellion. That it's not that you're not going to get married simply so you can feel independent. Because then you're not independent. Then you're just a rebel against what they say. And that's still dependent. Real independence is the freedom to make a decision that is not affected either way by what the culture says, by what other people say, by all of the different strings and cords that bind us. But that's made in wisdom. Recklessness is not independence. Rebellion is not independence. Independence requires wisdom. For me actually to know what the right decision is. So find that real inner wisdom. And then present it to them. And once they get over the very first initial reaction, I think they'll actually support you. And if not, well then you're going to have to find the courage to walk your path, even without their support at this moment. A path of love, a path of respect, a path of caring, but a path that also loves and cares and respects your own dharma. That respects them, cares for them, loves them, and loves and respects your own path and your own dharma. And a path that holds both of those things together is ultimately the path of independence. Because independence does not mean that I trample all over everybody around me. Doesn't mean I become the, elephant in a china shop. Or the bull in the china shop, rather. It's not what it's about. The wisdom within independence is a wisdom that takes everything into consideration. The people around me, my own internal sense, Mother Earth, all of it. So anchor in and find that wisdom, and then walk your path. The truth is a magnet. Truth attracts people. And when you really live your truth, you don't have to shove it down people's throat. You just have to live it. And slowly, people will come around. Parents especially. questions. Yes.
This is from someone in the Insta live chat, and she says, you often talk about how you don't miss material things because your heart is so full. This is possible if you're living in an ashram. How can you make such a step in the city?
And the first part was that I don't miss things. Is that what she said?
She's saying you often talk about how you don't miss the material things.
Yes. So, not missing material things. And this is a question that refers to lots of questions that I get all the time about, don't you miss America? Don't you miss, all of the things that you used to do and have and own and etc. And me saying over and over for the last 26 years, no, I don't. Because my heart is so full here. Doesn't mean there aren't things there that I enjoy. But there's no sense of longing. There's no sense of emptiness due to a lack of something from there. Now, this isn't only possible in an ashram. This is very possible in a city. It's possible anywhere that you can be connected to your true self. I mean, can you love in a city? Of course. Can you meditate and connect to God in a city? Of course. Can you serve, help others in a city? Of course. Can you look up at the stars in the night or the birds in the day and appreciate the exquisiteness of creation in a city? Of course. Is it as nice as it is on a mountaintop? No. But that's why you've got weekends and holidays to go off to the mountains and be in nature like that. But you can do it in the city. Your true self is within you. And it's with you wherever you are. And when you're living in your true self, the nature of that true self is full. It's not just my heart is full. It's all of us by nature of our true self. Each of us is full. We just don't know it. And so we've bought into the myth that we're not full, that we're lacking in some way, that we need material possessions or wealth or power or happy hours at the pub in order to feel full. But we don't. It's why we meditate. It's why we do yoga. It's why we pray. It's why we do seva. It's why we spend time in nature as much as we can, even if it's just a tree in a park a few blocks away from my home or my office. Because it connects us. And in that connection, we experience fullness. So, yes, you can definitely do it in a city. You may find that it's easier to catalyze that in an ashram, at a retreat center, in nature. But once you've catalyzed it, then you carry it back with you. Then it's yours. So, by all means, come here for a short time or find a beautiful place near where you live, wherever you live. Jumpstart that. Jumpstart that connection to your higher divine self. And then you'll carry that back. And you'll find the opportunity for fullness in every minute and every moment. Because it's in your heart. And just like there's something to be grateful for every minute and every moment, Well, that's enough to make our heart feel full. The more grateful you can be. And ashrams don't have any kind of monopoly on gratitude. You can be grateful wherever you are. Do you pull into a parking garage where somebody parks your car? Can you be grateful to him? Does somebody make you a cup of coffee in the morning, either for free or that you buy? Can you be grateful to them? Or do you make a cup of coffee, but someone somewhere in the world was growing those coffee beans, slaving away in a coffee field so you could have those? Can you be grateful to them for doing that? I mean, there's so much to be grateful for. Wherever you go, just look for it. And you'll find that slowly, slowly your heart feels very full wherever you are. Other questions? Yes.
Namaste, Guruji. I have one question. I have heard that when our soul is leaving the body, that time for a fraction or few seconds, we tend to see the entire lifetime in front of our eyes. I just want to understand at that point of time, what is the purpose of seeing the entire lifetime, or what we are supposed to interpret from that? That's one question. Second question is, I also heard that when the time comes, we'll meet our Guru. So how will we understand we have met our Guru?
So, this idea that your life flashes before your eyes right when you die. Interestingly, this is an idea that transcends religions. I've heard people from every walk of life, every religion, every culture, every country. Usually our ideas about death tend to be very culturally and religiously related. This is one I've heard everywhere. I think that the reason it would be true, if it is true, at least according to our Vedic understanding of life and death, is that my next birth is going to be based upon the fruits of the karma, means the results of the actions of what I've done in this birth and in my past births. Some of my actions, their results happen immediately. As I always say, it's like a bar fight, right? I hit you, you hit me right back. We go home with black eyes, but our karmic relationship is over. We don't have to carry it into our next birth. But a lot of the actions that we do actually bear fruit later in this life or even in next life. And so to give us an awareness of why we're going where we're going, I could imagine it would be helpful to see and to suddenly understand, okay. I also think that it might make our life sort of understandable as the thread that it is, because each life is just a thread in a tapestry of creation. I mean, each of our threads are interwoven. We've got these karmic journeys and karmic threads where each of us is interwoven with each other, interwoven with our circumstances and situations. And some of it makes no sense at all why we're living it. I get questions all the time why people who are really beautiful and honest and caring and generous have these bad things happen to them, and these people who are crooks, liars and stealers and cheats seem to succeed. These things that make no sense while we're living them. I think that suddenly, if as we died we were able to see not just our actions, but the way that our thread wove into the tapestry of creation, that would be really beautiful. And again, I can't tell you that this actually happens or not, but should it happen, I think that would be really beautifully kind of the universe to offer us that view from a distance of, oh yeah, this is how this thread of your life that is just coming to an end wove so beautifully into the tapestry of all of creation. And here's where that thread's going to pick up. In the next life, as a new thread through the same tapestry of creation. So that for me would be why we would see it. But what's even more important than that is, can you see it while you're living it? I mean, don't wait for the flash of an eye. Oh, this is what my life was about. Because unfortunately at that moment, there isn't anything else you can do about it. Neither what it was like, nor where you're going. It's just information for information's sake. The real question is, can you see it while you're living it? Can we open our eyes while we're living to actually see the way that our thread is weaving into the tapestry? To actually see the actions we are performing as we perform them, so that we don't find ourselves victims of our own actions, victims of the fruits of our own karma, but that we become very conscious co-creators of our life, of our world. So don't worry about what you're going to see for a very, very brief moment, possibly when you die. Focus on what you can see while you are alive. Open your eyes. Open your third eye. Meditate on the third eye. Open that third eye so you really can see the truth. And then what you see at the end of your life may or may not be there, but that's all right, because you will have already seen. You'll know where you're going. And as far as the guru, yeah, the guru comes, but it's not a one-way street. Means the guru is there, but we have to be open. You know, I think about it like water flowing out of a tap. But if we are a metaphoric bucket, and our bucket is upside down, we're not going to benefit from the beautiful water flowing out of the tap. But a lot of us are in that state where we are this upside down bucket. And we're praying and we're wondering, where's grace? Where's the guru? And it's there. Grace is there. The guru is there. In your life maybe already. But our bucket is upside down. And so this is why we do sadhana. It's why we introspect. It's why we work on being conscious and mindful, so that we can turn that bucket right side up and actually accept and absorb and see and therefore benefit from that flow of wisdom and grace, that presence of the guru. And when you say, how do we know? you'll know in your heart, the mind likes to shop. It's what we're trained to do. So the mind is used to sort of sizing people up. And sadly, we do it even with gurus. And you get a lot of people these days sort of guru shopping. Well, this one can do this, and this one can do this, and this one is... You're not going to find a guru through guru shopping. All that's going to do is keep you out of your heart so you don't actually feel the presence of the guru. Instead, get out of the head, get into the heart, and feel, is there a light that I feel in me? And this is an important distinction. The light that the guru shines isn't a light on the guru himself or herself. It's not, look at me, aren't I so great, you should be my disciple. The guru is the one who shines the light on us. And so it's not about getting caught up in charisma or a show of light. It's about actually the presence of the one in whose presence you experience the light of you. That suddenly, for the first time, you're able to see and feel you. The light of you. And that's the guru. Have a beautiful Dhanteras, a beautiful first day of Diwali. Today also was the first day of our Diwali retreat, which we're having here at the ashram. If you are interested in joining, we are always open to having anyone who would like to be with us. So you can talk after satsang to our beautiful, beautiful devoted seva team. You can talk to Sevanandaji, you can talk to Preeti, you can talk to Karen. If you're interested, and if you can't do it for the full 4 or 5 days, but you want to do a day or two, don't worry, that's fine too. It's days of yoga and meditation and beautiful talks and different programs, and they've got a lot of very fun and inspiring things planned. So if you'd like to join that, we would love to have you as well. And so much love to you all. I look forward to being together again tomorrow evening.